Spectro. Hey Rod, how you doing?
Hey Dan, what's up?
What's up, man? Hey, so last time we talked, we were digging into some of the Spectro plugins, right? Not looking at Spectro M, the main plugin, but looking at some of the additional plugins that you would get if you sign up to use Spectro M. We've already covered the Spectro Oscillator. We've covered Spectral Range. Now let's cover the Trend Analyzer, right? So you have a specific plugin that others can download, import, or integrate with TradingView and look at. It's called Trend Analyzer, right? So welcome back to the show, and let's jump into it, Rod. Take it
Oh
away
yeah.
with the Trend Analyzer.
All right. So the Ultimate Trend Analyzer basically is the only one that's not actually within Spectro.
Okay.
Okay, because it's simply too heavy. Spectro basically uses the maximum capacity that TradingView offers. So the Ultimate Trend Analyzer required more, for instance, it uses a bunch of information from several time frames, and has like a crazy math behind it. And I simply could not put it inside of Spectre anymore because it said, oh, you already use too many time frames,
Okay.
basically keeping it simple. So it's actually the only one who's not in Spectre. All the other ones we talked about, they are. For instance, we talked about the oscillator, which is the main thing about Spectro, and the Alpha Omega. We didn't talk about it, but we will. And it's right here in volatility tools and Spectral range is something that comes from the oscillator. It's all in here. But the trend analyzer, we offer you 5 different types here. But this is
Rod,
specific
I don't
one,
think you're.
which is
Sorry to interrupt you, but I don't think you're sharing it, and I want to make sure if you're showing something.
yeah, no worries. But just understand that it's not in it. Like you have all of them, but the Ultimate Trend Analyzer you don't, unfortunately, because simply TradingView doesn't let me. So now I'm gonna share my screen with you guys, and we can actually see what I'm talking about.
Cool.
So you might be able to see me now. Can you see it?
Not quite yet. Let's see here. Looks like it's going to come up though here in a sec.
Yeah.
There it is. See it now.
All right. So basically, you don't have to be like a advanced user to see that this kind of looks like that. All right.
Sure.
So why? So the trend analyzer is very, very easy to understand. You have a middle line, okay, and anything above it, it's bullish. So if the line is kind of here, it means that the price action should go up.
Okay.
If the price is down here, it's a bearish movement. But here's the kicker. Right now, you're probably thinking like, but look, this kind of looks kind of stagnant and dead.
Yeah.
Why? Because the Ultimate Trend Analyzer evaluates several time frames. Because here's the thing, like we're looking at 15 minutes for scalping, intraday trading, whatever trade, but the trading profile it's on long term and swing trading. And actually, for me, it's one of the most useful ways to use it. Why? Because for a fact with one look that the long-term trend it's horrible.
Sure.
It's very, very bearish because like the colors, as the color gets stronger, the stronger the trend is. So you see it's all the way down here. So it means that this is a very heavy downtrend. So the price tends to go down. And you see that's kind of what's going on here,
Okay.
right? And that's how I like to use it. But in this case,
So
let's
wait,
say,
really quick, just so I'm clear. So if that line right there was up in the green, that would denote kind of a bullish market in general, right?
yeah,
Just to make sure
for
people
instance,
understand. Okay.
yeah. For instance, we're looking at a very small dimension. If we zoom out to let's say a 12-hour dimension, whatever. So it takes a little time to load because it takes in consideration monthly, weekly, blah 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 blah. So you see now when you're zooming out in a larger, bigger time frame, it makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, here in the past, you kind of have a like a kind of halfway weak bullish trend,
Yep.
right? But at this moment here, it's very clear you have a downtrend. And look what happens afterwards. And this is just so beautiful, man. Look at this crossing here, okay? Look where it is.
Yeah,
It's
that's
here.
crazy. That's awesome.
So, you see this huge drop going on, and it reaches the very bottom here. So at this moment here, you knew with several bars in advance that a massive downtrend is coming.
Yeah.
You see, so the ultimate trend analysis is just so simple to use and so powerful that, you know, it's basically that. And then there's also another way to use it. Like you already know, I'm conservative. I like to trade less. I like to make smaller positions. But once again, let's say, oh, I'm a day trader. I like to trade, you know, like more, you know, faster. So let's zoom in a little close, you know, like a little closer, a little faster, 4 hours. And we're going to have an insight on how to use it differently, not only, you know, the downtrend.
Yeah.
And then the bigger trend. For instance, all the information we have here, okay, it's under the middle line. So all this move here, it's basically within a downtrend. So what does that tell me? Trade, at least my humble 2 cents, trade with the trend. Everybody says that, you know, it's something you know. Why? Simply because when you're in downtrend, the shorts, you know, the bearish moves, they tend to be bigger. Why? Psychology. For instance, everybody's running, everybody's panicking, so everybody tends to sell more, simply because the sentiment is negative, right? So it means that when you're trading, when you're shorting in a downtrend, the odds are in your favor, because if it goes up, it tends to not go so much. But if it goes down, it tends to go a lot, like this.
Yeah.
Okay. So what does it mean? It means that you see that the line itself, even though it's clearly bullish, right? Oh, bearish. I apologize.
Yep.
There are times that the line changes color.
Yep.
And that's when you can use it for faster trading. For instance, we know it's bearish, we all know, but whatever. I want to pick bottoms. Okay, pick your poison. Good, great. So you start to, you know, to try to nail those price changes here.
Sure.
You see, and they're not so bad because you see, this is a better movement. I'm just gonna show you.
But if you look at almost all of those, I don't know about all of them, but almost all of them,
they're actually good.
It's the price moves like a few. What are you on a 4 hour? Probably a few hours or a day or two after. So you're legitimately predicting the price movements very well right here with this.
Oh yeah. And I just want to show you something that we have to zoom in a little better, you know. But there's an area that you can see that it gets orange, you know.
Yeah.
You see here. And
oh,
here.
The little orange line. Yeah, it's a little hard to see, but yeah, I see it now. Yeah.
But you see, yeah. But the orange line, it's actually the very point where the correction is shifting, you know. So it's actually a very good way for you to pick bottoms. For instance, let's look at
wow. That's cool.
So here we have a double bottom. When do you trade it? Look, orange. Let's see where it is.
Yeah.
Orange. It's as simple as that.
That is wild. And there's more options as well. I mean, what are those percentages? Just out of curiosity, so there's a 15%. What's the next one? Like the next little run up, because there's an orange mark. Even though I wouldn't necessarily trade that.
Yeah. So this one.
There's a couple of them on here. 6. Yeah. Yeah, right there's another. That's probably gonna be 4.
This one is late. You know, I don't think I would trade it.
Got it. Okay.
You see, another thing, like actually, there's a huge movement. All right, and context. Context is everything. This is a ultimate trend analyzer, taking into consideration several time frames. So, if sometimes, you know, especially when you're looking at 4 hours time frame, which is not, you know, like super long. When you're kind of late, you know, you want to long and you're in a downtrend, so you have to be extra safe when you're longing, you know, when you're buying, you know, when you want to see a bullish movement. If you miss, you know, like there's this huge move and then you have the signal kind of here and it's, you know, closer to a resistance, you know, and this resistance, it's a crappy signal, and that's the fact. So just don't buy it, you know, wait until the odds are with you.
Yeah.
That's why, this is actually, against the trade with the trend, but we're exploiting our luck.
Yep.
So let's take a look at other moves here. Oranges. You have this orange here, which is here. It's a small move,
Sure.
but it's still, 2.8% in 8 hours, and you have this other orange right here. And this is actually quite interesting because you see you have a green movement, but it's just sideways. Then you have a orange, and then you have a red correction. And this is a divergence. Price is going up, you have a red downtrend. So it's actually a good thing because the worst is past. So the bearish indicator is over. So, whatever comes next tends to be a little better. That's another way to see it. 4.6% in 16 hours. That's a little late, not good. And then we have this one, which is just massive, which is...
Where's the orange there? It doesn't look like the orange showed up there, but the green did, of course.
You see, it's kind of overlap here.
Okay.
Like, it's really small. You
Okay.
see, like, the color's weird. Because sometimes, like, if it's a really small movement, like if it happens like within a bar, since it's a horizontal thing, it's not, if it was a wick or something, it would make a lot of noise. But since it's a horizontal color thing, you can really see it.
Go, if you can, just for a moment, just to humor me, go to the 2-hour chart, because the resolution will get higher, right? And so it may be easier to see that. So just want to keep that in mind with people.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea.
The resolution will get better or more clear.
Yeah. There you go. Good, very, very clever idea there.
And is it orange there? Is it easy? Oh yeah, okay, yep. But at the same time, though, I think it's better to look at this in the higher time frames, right? It just is higher confirmation.
But wait, remember, now it's when the fun stuff starts. We're using the swing long-term trading profile.
Okay.
So let's make it more aggressive. Let's use the day trading profile.
Okay.
So now, sometimes if you're making intraday positions, you want something that's more reactive, and you're trying to pick a very small portion of time within an indicator that looks for very big time frames, very long trends. So you see how the behavior have changed, all the behaviors and everything. You see how the lines, they change a little stronger and stuff. That makes you remember the divergence we were talking about. Look at this, right?
Yep.
And now look at this.
Yep. Yep. Another divergence indicator.
Exactly. That's what you want to look at. Same thing like here. And then you have here.
And then you have the bounce. Yep.
And then if you look at the shifting zones, for instance, here, whatever move you pick, let's pick this orange here. Man, this is a 8% in 6 hours.
8%, that's good. Yeah.
We can even go further down the road, and let's talk about 3 minutes. Let's go crazy, right?
So real quick, if you're on the swing, the setting, if you're on the swing setting or the day trading, explain that a little bit. Like, what does it actually do on, like, how do you, because I kind of understand it, but I want to make sure I understand it really.
Yeah.
Like when you're
so that's why I want to go to, very extreme time frames, for instance, from, a day to 3 minutes. Because remember how we were looking at 4 hours and 2 hours, and it was kind of like this?
Yeah.
So now, when we're talking about 3 minutes, we're basically like one bar of, 2 hours has a bunch of bars of 3 minutes. And that's why it's kind of like this.
It's flat, yeah.
Because imagine like you have this thing. You're looking at this, at this moment here. So it doesn't change so much because you're kind of looking right here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, like we were talking about before, it's clearly bearish. You don't have to be a master to know that, and that's why it's on the red area. But you know, sometimes you want to catch those big drops or something like that, or you just want to change your trading profile to a scalping profile, and that will make it a little more reactive into something that gives you more insight for smaller time frames.
Okay, so
Boom.
is it? It's kind of like it's actually kind of very like it's very similar to using time frames themselves, right? Because it zooms in. It basically zooms in, just like a time frame would. So a 12-hour versus a 3 minute. A 3 minutes obviously much more zoomed in, and the same with your day trading setting versus your swing trading setting, and versus scalping. Scalping is obviously going to be much more zoomed in, and you're going to see the action. Yeah, that okay. That totally makes sense. Thank you.
Right? So obviously here, from here, all this time, it's kind of a bearish movement. And
Yeah.
look what's happening to the price. Then when it starts to reverse, you see, and from here to here, it's a bullish movement. Look what happens to the price.
Yep. And just for
And
kicks,
then,
what's the percentage there when it starts moving bullish? What's the actual?
okay,
I know it's a 3 minute, so it's probably not gonna be big, but
yeah, not exactly. So let's see from, another thing that if you're trading trends, it's not something so fast like this. Boom, boom. Trading trends is like a whole movement.
sure,
When you're trading trends, you don't catch the bottom and you don't catch the very top. You just,
sure.
for instance, I'm just gonna turn the other indicator here so you kind of can see what I'm talking about. I'm gonna just display you a trend analyzer just for kicks because I think that visual it's always easier, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, let me zoom in so we can understand about what is actually. So it's one of our trend analyzers that it's already within the spectrum itself, but when it's red it's bearish, when it's green it's bullish. As simple as that. So
Yep.
you see it becomes green here, and then it reverses all the way here.
Yep.
You could sell all the way there, but you see you're trading trends. It's a little different. You see
Yep.
what I'm talking about?
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's something that you have to keep in mind how the behavior works. It's just a
Sure.
different strategy.
Yep.
No problem there. So, if you want to trade, those very, the peaks and stuff, you should use the spectral range, which
Mm-hmm.
it's a completely different application and a completely different strategy. But going back to the question you asked, so what is the percentage when it goes, from bearish to bullish, which is basically here. You see, it kind of starts a little late, kind of here,
Yeah. But
and
this is
then
a 3 minute chart, just to make sure everybody knows. This is a very
yeah,
high resolution chart, right?
yeah, very very small actually. But now
Very small, yeah.
there's the funny stuff. We're using the scalping version, and the correlation method is price.
Okay.
Price tends to be more aggressive than volume. We talked about this before. Remember, price can change really fast because one guy dump in a moment that the book's not, so crowded, and then price is gonna boom.
Yep.
But
Yep.
if you want something less aggressive, you change the correlation method to volume.
Got it.
And that, you see, that will give you a completely different behavior, less aggressive, smoother,
Yep.
and boom.
But
See?
would you also say it's more reliable, like in terms of predictive power, because it's more conservative, or because it's more? I know it varies because it. I kind of know. Go ahead, say what you're gonna say. I kind of know what you're gonna say, but I want to hear what you say.
It's not reliable. It's just a different strategy. You just
Sure.
have to keep in mind the context. Like
Mm,
it's slower, but it's safer. Like
right.
if shit goes wrong, it tends to not. So like you're not trying to the following knife and all.
Yep.
It's just a different type of approach.
It's
You
slower
know what I
but
mean?
safer. I like that though. It's slower but safer, and to me,
Yeah,
it's more conservative.
that's
I mean, in yeah. So just like you explained it, that makes sense. I mean,
yeah. Like that's how I like to trade. But I mean, it's entirely up to each and every person. Their capacity to handle losses and like how big are your balls? You know what I mean? Like
mhm.
you're trying to catch a knife falling, you can get cut. Like if you're trying to pick bottoms in a massive down movement, you can always like buy at the wrong time, and you're gonna see like a something going wrong really fast, and like you buy and then in 5 minutes it's already like -3%. And if you're trading like scalping with leverage, it could go wrong like really bad, really fast. Like you buy it and then you're like -50%. And like, oh my God, what the fuck is going on? I'm gonna sell and I don't know what I do.
Yeah.
And all of this happened because you don't have a clear set of rules. You don't have a strategy. You know what I mean?
Yep. No, this is good. I think this is teaching people a lot about strategy as well. And like that, the fact of the matter is, there's a lot of strategies you could use, but you just need to create a strategy and you need to stick to the set of rules that you're establishing, right? So
yeah, it's all about the strategy. It's all about, you see, war. Let's talk about war, which is something that I'm kind of into it. But let's talk about the U.S. military, one of the strongest in the world. Okay, they have guns, they have good technology, but yeah, the American soldier is the one that has the biggest training. And what does training do for you? When shit goes wrong, you know what to do and how to react fast because they have a strategy.
Yep.
Terrorist guys, they also have guns. They have bazookas, they have RPGs, they have mortars, they have all the same shit. They might not have drones, but why do they get owned every time? Mm-hmm. Because they don't have a strategy. Yep. They got a gun and start running like,
Yep. Yep.
And that's exactly what a beginner trader looks like.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a kid with a gun.
Yep. No, it makes sense. And very important to have a strategy. And I more and more, I'm learning, how to create good, successful, winning strategies in terms of trading, right? With the Ultimate Trend Analyzer, what else is there? I want to make sure we keep this a bit concise, just to make sure people get, as much value as they can in a short time. But I think that's already been packed in here a lot. But are there any other little nuggets or tips or tricks or anything else you could recommend? How you've summed it up pretty well, but is there anything else?
Yeah, I think when you're trading trends in general, try to keep this in mind. You're not trying to eat the whole steak. You're just trying to take one very juicy bite right in the middle, and and then you throw all the rest out.
Okay.
That's how you should see it. You're gonna lose some of you're not gonna catch the top. You're not gonna catch the bottom. You're just gonna catch the very juicy middle. Mm-hmm. And you see, it's as simple as that, my friend. Like, you have this thing going on here, right? Pretty simple. You average it out. So basically, you tell me when you think this is, actually becoming bullish. So it's when you think you should buy in.
I mean, I think you should buy right back a little bit, probably. I mean, it's where I can't really see right wherever the orange is there. There's a big orange piece I see right there.
Don't try to do orange. Just try to to think like as an average. You see, it's kind of going crazy here, but try to make it turn into one line.
I would buy probably right at the dip there, at the top there, kind of that dip.
Which one?
Right there.
I'm going up.
Back just the not that dip, but the one right before it. Yeah, that dip. Because we're still going bullish. We're diverging bullishly on your trend analyzer below, but the price is going down. So it's a contradiction in terms, and there's divergence, right? And so, yeah. Is that correct?
It's actually one of, in my perspective, the very best point. Why? Because you're trading with the odds. Why? First, because it's really close to the support. You see? It bounces back always close to this baby here.
Yep.
When you buy here, all right, I would probably buy here. You bought one before.
Sure.
Because it's just closer to the shift.
Right.
Because when you buy here, your stop loss is going to be better. Because when you buy here, you're buying, close to the bottom.
Sure.
If it goes bad, you're not going to lose so much when you buy kind of, on the peak here.
Yeah.
Because if you buy here, you're going to see it going all the way down. And that's scary as hell.
Yeah.
Sorry, kids. No,
that makes
sense. That's why you always buy closer to the support levels. Because then if it goes wrong, you don't have to take so much risk. Risk is basically like, you bought something and you're seeing like a drawdown of minus 10%. You just have to, I'm okay. It's all good. Man, it's not okay. And you're probably pooping your pants kind of situation.
Yeah.
So when you buy here, it's awesome because the risk can be small, your stop loss can be tight, and your profits are big. Mm-hmm. And look what happened. Boom.
And again, this is a 3-minute chart. So 4% in probably like, how long is that? 6 hours, yeah. Which is great. I mean, to make 4.5%.
Actually 3 hours.
Yeah, that's great.
And then if you buy on the, where I suggested, that would be like 4% in an hour.
Yeah. That's wild. That's wild. This is extremely powerful. I can't wait to try some of this out. I haven't actually used all of these. I've used some of these, but some of them are new, and I haven't actually used all of them. So I'm very excited, especially after this, to get into this. Well, what do you think? I mean, I think this. Anything else? I mean, I could keep going all day, but I want to be mindful of time, of course. But this is super educational.
It's all understanding about the concept. Like try to see the bigger picture. See this black line, like, okay, this black line kind of crosses here, So let's say you short around here.
Okay.
You would already profit here. So let's say you're scalping. Man, let's say you're using 50 times leverage. So you would short somewhere at this orange here, you see?
Yep.
So you would short somewhere here. Man, that's minus 0.3% in 30 minutes. If we're talking about 50 times,
right?
That's like 15% in half an hour.
That's crazy. Wow, I want to use this. Well, let's keep it at that. I think we could do another video of this if we need to, but I think this was super valuable, and I think we packed a lot in there, and I honestly just want to kind of go use it because after this little lesson, I think it's just getting my head turning, and my juices flowing. I want to try it. But cool. Well,
it's funny.
Yeah, go ahead.
It doesn't matter. It's just I was just gonna say, like when I was creating it, I didn't use it. I was just kind of chasing a concept, chasing a theory, and I was seeing it working out, and it was looking great, and I was like, man, I just fucking have to use this, and then I have to launch it, and send the emails and create the knowledge base, and I just want to fucking trade it, and I know how you feel.
No, and you're just like, I want to use it, but you're like trying to create a product.
I'm full of new toys, and I cannot come up with new strategies. I'm still using like the strategy I used like for 3 years. You know what I mean?
Nice. Which I want to get to at some point, not in this video, but we'll get there at some point. Your official, strategy. But let's talk.
I would never tell you. Okay.
Well,
if you pay me a lot of money, I would. But I mean, I'm giving you already all the tools, and I already gave you like probably 4 or 5 strategies that are like basically very good.
No, I can't complain. I mean, for $49 a month, this is ridiculous. Like the amount of value that's packed in here for $50, less than $50 a month, is ridiculous. So kudos to you for like making that a reality, to like actually be able to use a tool like this that's very sophisticated, that came from your head, and clearly just literally pointing out strategies like all day long. We could do this and show people, and I'm curious to see how it works and tell my audience and work with them on helping them become more successful, because I'm not a professional trader, but I've grown significantly in the last year, and now with this, it's like a lot of things are clicking. And so the next 6 months, I'm really excited to like put a lot of this to the test, right? And I'm relatively beginner, but like I can envision like if you keep practicing and doing this, I mean, there's money to be made here. I mean, it's not a get rich quick, but it's powerful, put it that way. So anyway, let's leave it with that. Thank you, Rod, for coming on the show. I'm Dan, guys, from Crypto Camacho. If you like this video, please give us a like or a comment down below. Let us know if there's specific things you want to learn about. Let us know if you have questions about the Ultimate Trend Analyzer, about the oscillator, about Spectrum itself, about anything really we're talking about. We'll come back and we'll answer whatever you want, because we want people to be successful. These tools are, very powerful, and I think anybody that takes the time to watch these videos is going to get that very, very quickly. So, again, thank you, Rod, and we will talk again shortly.